Hello amazing viewers, good day to you all. Welcome to my channel. When we say the North remains our biggest problem, some people will feel we don't know what we are saying. And I'm sorry to say, I'll keep saying this thing, most of the leaders from the North, the political elites, remain the problem of the North and the problem of Nigeria and Nigerians. Their way of thinking, despite, in spite of the so-called education they claim to, have attained. You get to wonder if these people do care about the welfare of their people. I have seen reports on, the reckless spending from some of these northern leaders. Purchasing of SUV and so many other stuff. In fact, it's so bad to the point that even when some few people, have the balls or raise the balls to, call these people out, they end up trying to, intimidate and oppress these individuals by arrest or by some other means. How does it even make any sense that in the North you have people, being dealt with daily with poverty, yet the government of the day feel, okay, we have to pay more attention to repentant terrorists. I don't even know what gave them the impression that these people have actually repented. How can it be said or be heard that a government will spend billions of naira in the name of re-radicalization scheme or whatsoever? In the past 9 months, the government of Borno State have so far spent such a huge amount of money, billions of naira, to rehabilitate terrorists. When schools are in bad states, people are dying of hunger. This same governor, I'm talking about no other person but the governor of Borno State, ZULUM, just 3 days here or 4 days back, cried or raised alarm, calling on the federal government that what is it called? The boko haram, that they have, started using drones to attack. How did they get the drones? How is it even sure that the people they are busy re-radicalizing are not the ones giving these people information going back? Because I'm saying this thing because we have seen, news of soldiers raise alarm about the same Boko Haram, repentant Boko Haram, being incorporated or employed into the Nigerian military. I don't even understand. I'm glad that, okay, we have civil society group that is saying, oh, the ZULUM administration, need to be held accountable for this humongous amount spent on radicalization program. Because I feel like, okay, this government, they are bringing different avenue to steal. Okay, look at Sanwo-Olu. There is a headline I just stumbled on that they have spent 2.7 million naira, billion naira on a household, vulnerable household. You get to wonder, who are these vulnerable household that got this amount of money? Money where they go use do something. They go say, oh, we have to give it to the poor. The poor and poor that they have given, you don't even see. The North really get issues though. They really have issues. And with the way they are going, there's going to be continuous poverty there. No be swear. There's going to be continuous poverty there until the people seriously hold these people accountable. Very serious poverty. I'm going to read what the media reported. Before I get to do that, I'll first of all show us this video of a young Northerner, talking about the core problem of the North. And I tell you the truth, she really made a lot of points. Northern leaders, we keep being the problem.
Did you know that the North accounts for over 60% of people living in multidimensional poverty in Nigeria? And this is from the statistics from the National Bureau of Statistics for the country. This means that most of the people who are struggling from low income, poor housing, lack of access to education, lack of access to good health care, come from the North and live in the North. According to UNICEF, we have over 20 million out-of-school children in Nigeria. Did you know that more than half of those 20 million children are from the North? Of the 20 million out of school children we have in Nigeria, over 12 million of those children are from the north. Bauchi, Zamfara, Kebbi, and Katsina, they have some of the highest numbers of out of school children, not just in the country, but in the entire world. And when it comes to insecurity, over 70% of the insecurity incidents that we have suffered in the country hail from the north. Between January to October today, there have been accounts of over 1,500 people that have been killed, over 500 reported cases of kidnapping in the country. Over 70% of these reported cases are from the north. Banditry and kidnapping has become a multi-million naira industry in the north. Northern Nigeria holds the record for the most displaced number of communities because of insecurity in the country. And let's talk about money as well, because as much as we love to say that there's money in the north and people in the north have money, is a select few people that have money in the north. And when I say that, I mean the 0.01% of northerners that have money. Because when it comes to internally generated revenue, the north contributes the least in this country, the least. Out of Nigeria's top 10 revenue generating states, Kano and Kaduna are the only northern states in that top 10. Out of the 10 states, there are only 2 northern states up there. And out of the top 10 least revenue generating states, the north is leading, with 8 states being on that list and only 2 southern states being on there. 8 northern states and 2 southern states when it comes to the least revenue generating states. If you pick 3 northern states, let's say you pick Taraba, you pick Zamfara, and you pick Kebbi, these 3 states combined, the revenue they generate is not even nearly half of what the second most, the second most revenue generating state in the country. And yet, despite this low revenue, they are still having one of the highest costs of governance in the country. Imagine a state generating a revenue of less than 10 billion naira and having the cost of governance of over 50 billion naira in 1 year. That is an average statistic from a northern state. Spending billions maintaining government offices, convoys, and political appointments, while the rest of the north continues to die of hunger and bleed. And what's sad about all this is the fact that the north is full of natural resources. The north is not poor, but the people in it, we have states like Zamfara, Niger, and some parts of Kaduna that are rich in gold and other mineral resources. The insecurity we see every day in this region is not a coincidence. It is a part of the system that keeps our region unstable, so the exploitation of the region can continue unchecked. The population of the north makes up more than half the full population of the country, but that population is only remembered when election time comes and that number is needed to win an election. The only time the power of the north is remembered is when election time is here and they need our votes. Everyone is familiar with the saying, the north decides who rules Nigeria. Imagine the region who decides who rules Nigeria and yet still being the most neglected region of them all. We have the numbers, we have the votes, we have the power, but there's nothing to show for it. All we have is at every election, rather than using that power that we have to demand for real and sustainable change, we let ourselves be blinded by tribal and religious sentiments. And our politicians know this and they know how to use it, and that's why they come back to us every 4 years to give us back the same promises over and over and over again. Empty promises. They don't want better for themselves because they do not, first of all, understand what better means, and they are too busy being blinded by religious sentiments, by tribal sentiments, to even open their eyes to see that there is so much more that they can have for themselves. Influencers and media voices in the north spend more time promoting division than they do development. The only time you hear these people speak up is when it is a news that they know will incite some form of tribal or religious war. They love to talk about ethnicity, they love to talk about tribe, they love to talk about religion, but they do not talk about education. They do not talk about the millions of children that are out of school. They do not talk about industry. They do not talk about the fact that there are millions of children that are currently homeless. They do not talk about these things because these are the things that will not get them engagement. They care more about the engagement and the traffic on their page than they do about the lives of children, about the lives of Northerners in general, about the betterment of Northerners in general. The out-of-school children that we have that are also homeless, they cannot read, they cannot write, they cannot do anything for themselves. All they know their entire lives is violence. And what do they end up doing? They grow up and continue to incite that violence that they have been introduced to. We do not talk about that. We don't, because it's not something that would bring engagement. It's not something that would bring engagement to the media voices, to the media houses or whatever, to the influencers and the media houses. I always love to say that the North needs to wake up, right? But the more you see the people that think in the North, the more you see how the thought process of people in the North is, the more you kind of lose hope for any change to happen in the North. Because, you know, it's so crazy to me and it's so incredibly sad to me. You can sit and talk about something that is plaguing the North, and the same Northerners will be in your comment section insulting you that why are you saying this, why are you saying that, or they will bring whataboutism inside it, instead of focusing on the issue itself and saying, yes, this is an issue that needs to be fixed, and speaking up and demanding for that thing to be changed for the good. They will focus on doing whataboutism. Take, for instance, we're talking about the child marriage thing right now, and I have so many people, I've been deleting so many comments, I have so many people that think I am a Southerner simply because I am speaking English. I am a Northern girl from Katsina State, but they think I am a Southerner because I'm speaking English, and they keep telling me, oh, what about the Southerners, that all you people that have girlfriends, that are young, you people that are marrying. I was like, it does not matter. We still have the same issue, which is child marriage, and it's not something that you're going to say, but if these ones are doing it, so why are you talking about the ones that we are doing as well? It's such a flawed way of thinking. But then again, like I said, we have a lot of work to do in the North, and it's not helping that we are less likely to improve because of the people that we have in the region in general. Like, it's sad to admit, but it is what it is. Like, it's so sad.
It sounds bitter saying these things, but it is what it is. The truth need to be told at the end of the day. The North is far, is far from getting better. Like I said, not because. Just take a look at the kind of leaders that they have. Some of these Northerners that are educated understand clearly the kind of mind game these people are playing with them. The only time they remember these individuals is when there is election or there is something important. Mostly when there's election. Mostly when there's election. The problem of the North is far from being over. You can imagine where the government of the day, with the multi-dimensional poverty that is ravaging people of the North, your problem is how to re-radicalize or do whatsoever program you are doing in the name of repentance, boko haram, how they vow with the Quran and they will not go back again. And you are coming to raise alarm and say, oh, they are now using drones. So what do you want the government to do? When you people are busy conniving with the government to do what is wrong. Make it make sense to me. What is the guarantee that those people you have spent this 2-point-something billion has been reported by the media, that they are not the one giving information? On a more serious note, just like what the young lady said, I feel truly all this instability, being experienced in the North is solely on purpose, so that the people who are benefiting from the exploitation of the mineral resources will continue to benefit. It don't dare so bad we say even people cannot be allowed to go to their farms in peace. You hear ridiculous thing like they have to contribute 20 million naira before they can be allowed to go to their farm. Please make it make sense to me. Just yesterday here, I read on the pages of one of the papers that a reverend father or so, a clergy, the wife and whatsoever, was kidnapped somewhere in Kaduna. Every day the problem keep increasing. Every day. The problem of the North is far from being over. It is not cause I'm telling you. It is not. The truth remains that the leaders of the North, they are not ready to stop this. They are not ready. If they were ready from the onset for this thing to end, wouldn't we be hearing things like the Boko Haram people, they are not after succession, they are for business. If you fight them, you fight Allah. They are freedom fighters. No! God is God all by himself. You don't need anybody to come fight for him. You know how to fight in battle. So when you hear these ridiculous statements, all you end up doing is just laugh and shake your head, knowing fully well that the problem is far from being over. I like Governor ZULUM, shame just they catch me. Shame just they catch me. Amounts that they have spent, according to reports, in the last 9 months of the 2025. I'm not even sure say that money, the budget to education, to infrastructure, was even up to that amount. What is wrong with these individuals?
A new budget performance document has revealed that the Borno state government spent a staggering 2.6 billion naira on the welfare of repentant Boko Haram members within the first 9 months of 2025. The expenditure, described as livelihood support for repentant Boko Haram members, was detailed in the state's third quarter budget report. Between July and September alone, 758.1 million was disbursed for the same purpose, raising questions about the government's spending priorities in a state still struggling with insecurity and poor healthcare infrastructure. The report also showed that while billions were allocated to the health sector, very little was actually spent. Only 2.076 billion naira of the 8.7 billion earmarked for the Primary Health Care Development Board was utilized, while the hospital's management board received just 1.2 billion out of its 10.5 billion capital budget for the year. The revelations have reignited anger among Nigerians who view the state's rehabilitation program for former terrorists as a misplaced priority amid widespread poverty, displacement, and underfunded social services. Military personnel deployed in the Northeast have also voiced frustration over what they describe as the government's deadly mistake of integrating so-called repentant fighters into security operations. Before Boko Haram attack any military camp in the Northeast, they already know how we operate. These repentant fighters tell them everything, one soldier told reporters. They expose how many men we deploy at the gate or entrance, the kind of weapons we carry, even the daily routine in the camp, he added. Another officer said the sabotage extended to logistics and supply details shared with the insurgents. Security analyst says the integration of former insurgents into rehabilitation and intelligence roles has compromised national security and emboldened terrorist networks still active in the region. Meanwhile, Governor Babagana Zulum recently admitted that more than 300,000 Boko Haram members had surrendered in the past 3 years, noting that not all were combatants. Borno State has, within the last 3 years, received more than 300,000 repentant Boko Haram fighters, and not all of them are fighters. Some of them are farmers, Zulum said earlier this year. He also acknowledged that the terror groups were regrouping in areas around Lake Chad and Mandara Hills, warning that their growing capacity posed renewed danger to the region. ISWAP and Boko Haram are terrorists getting support internationally, and looking at our porous borders, they remain infiltrated through the Sahel, which is a major problem, the governor stated. Despite these warnings, the state continues to channel huge sums into welfare program for ex-insurgents, such even as residents complain of poor access to medical facilities and economic hardship. Critics have accused Bola Tinubu's administration of turning a blind eye to the humanitarian crisis in the northeast while rewarding individuals responsible for years of bloodshed. Human rights advocates have called for a full audit of the Borno state government spending on the de-radicalization scheme, insisting that transparency and justice must take precedence over cosmetic reconciliation.
If you ask me, I feel this whole thing should be scrapped. I don't know how, the civil society groups will do this thing, but I feel this is how it's going to be. Aside from, road construction and some other infrastructural development that these people engage in, leaving the ones that are in bad states to go start up a new one. Even the ones that are in bad states, they can also loot money from it. This whole rehabilitation or whatsoever, it's another new means of looting. Who even think about having a conversation, a rehabilitation scheme with bandits, peaceful talk with bandits, let alone spending this amount of money in the name of rehabilitation and radicalization? Who does that? Where is it heard of in any nation of the world? But here in Nigeria, it is happening. And these same people will be the people that will raise alarm that, oh, things has gone haywire in the north when it comes to insecurity. Why won't things go haywire? When these people have seen clearly what you guys are doing, how you guys are romancing with them. Who in his right senses is going to spend this amount of money in such venture? When people are dying, people are out of school, people can't eat well. Who does that? So many people in the same Borno state, don't they displaced from their homes? How much was given to them to even start up something when the flood took place? How much was given to them? But we have this kind of exercise going on. And then tomorrow you come out and cry. Look, there shouldn't be any cry coming from that end. If they are ready to stop this whole thing, they know exactly what to do. And I feel this Arewa Forum and the rest, this is where their voice is needed the most. When it's time now, you talk about what the people are doing in the north that is wrong. That's where you just hear their voice. Now that they have their people wasting their resources, they will not raise their voice. They won't. They will always remain the biggest problem. I just pray that the educated ones that actually understand what their leaders are trying to do will start educating the rest to end this nonsense. I call this nonsense because it don't make sense to me say you're going to waste money on some rehabilitation whatsoever. The same people that have been, we have been told sabotaging the effort of the Nigerian military. And I've never heard of this kind of thing before. Only in this country. So why won't people see Nigeria as a joke? Why won't they see us as a joke? Shame wear me rapper on top of these individuals that call themselves leaders. God forbid this set of leaders. Thank you so much for watching. Please do leave your opinion in the comment section. Kindly subscribe to my channel if you haven't done so. Click on the notification bell. The moment you subscribe, that way you get to know as soon as I publish. Thank you so much, guys, for all the love. Thank you for the immense support. God bless you richly. Do enjoy the rest of your day and see you guys in my other videos.